Relegation. Do we consider our place in the Championship as a given, or do we need to start thinking about the drop? Welcome back, guys. So, Wednesday night, we lost 3-0 to QPR, and that brings us to the end of December and on our 24th game of the season, and we still find ourselves bottom of the league. Now, as I sit here in my slippers and my pyjamas, I think to myself, do we consider our place in the Championship as a given? I mean, we're the longest serving team. What is it, 15, 16 years now? Maybe even 17 that we've been in the same division. And maybe we've forgotten about the values that actually keep us in this league. And obviously, given recent results and the uptake of points on the table, it's probably evident enough to other people, other teams, other supporters, other players that Ipswich Town and the team are going to take a dive this season. So currently we sit rock bottom on 15 points. But let's look at the things that contribute towards our place in this division. So far this season, we've played 24 games and we've picked up 15 points. We're now beyond halfway point in the season. So having picked up an average of 0.625 points per game and simply replicating that form, this would leave us with a grand total of 29 points at the end of the season. Since its origin in 2004-2005, the Championship has only seen one team finish lower than 29 points. And that's Blackpool in 2014-15 with 26. Since the origin of the Championship, a total of 42 teams have been relegated to League One. Of those 42 teams, 14 teams have finished 22nd and gained an average of 45 points. That's not been enough to stay in this division on 6 occasions since 2004-2005. Town have 22 games remaining, 11 at home and 11 away, 11 against the top half of the table and 11 against the bottom half of the table as it currently stands. That's 66 points up for grabs. Town could avoid relegation by obtaining a minimum of 54 points. Currently the highest number of points gained by a team relegated from the Championship, and that was Peterborough back in 2012-2013. To obtain 54 points, Town would need to pick up 39 points from their remaining 22 fixtures. That's an average of 1.78 points per game. Mathematically, this allows us for only 9 more losses between now, the end of December, and May 2019. That's a scary thought. Considering Town have only won 2 and drawn 9 of their last 24 games, they must now win in the range of 9 to 13 games, accompanied by the necessary amount of draws in their last 22 games to stay in the Championship. Mathematically, that's possible. Realistically, impossible. Do we dare to dream? Considering January is now only a few days away, it's going to take a considerable amount of time and work to save Ipswich Town from relegation. So considering the evidence, do ITFC throw money at staying in the division, or do they prepare for the simple fact that they may get relegated? Please leave your comments below and email me, tweet me, let me know what you think about that. So let's have a look at the teams who have been relegated and those who, what's happened to them and, whether or not they've been promoted back to the league or continue getting relegated. Let's look how they've fared since 2004-2005. Of the 42 teams that have been relegated in the past 14 years, 8 teams have been promoted back to the Championship and then have been relegated once again. Astonishingly, 14 of the 42 teams that have been relegated from the Championship have then gone on to get relegated once again to League 2. Only one of those teams has managed to get back to the Championship. Ironically, 12 of the 42 teams that have been relegated since 2004-2005 currently make up half of the Championship. Teams such as Blackburn, Bolton, Bristol, Leeds, Millwall, Norwich, Forest, Preston, Rotherham, Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday, plus Wigan, have all been relegated from the Championship since 2004-2005. 5 teams that have been relegated since 2004-2005 have then been promoted back to the Championship and then promoted to the Premier League. One of those teams has then gone on to win the Premier League title. Ironically, the only team that has been promoted back to the Premier League and then has been relegated to the Championship is Norwich City. Paul Lambert became Ipswich manager after a 3-0 defeat at the Den against Millwall. Since then, Town have salvaged a measly 6 points from the 27 they had available to them. The next 6 games play a massive part in our season. We've got 3 home games, the first of which is against Millwall, then Rotherham, then Sheffield Wednesday, whilst we try not to get a defeat away to Aston Villa, Borough or Blackburn. In those 6 games, we must try and pick up as much points as possible. And obviously, if we don't do that, then we're going to find ourselves in an even worse situation than we are now. The beauty of this division is there's always a chance. Now, Town have 66 points to play for. The problem is that up until this point, it doesn't look like we've used the most of our advantages. We've not taken our opportunities. There's been too many personal errors that have led to defeats. But there's 22 games remaining, and January's only around the corner. Now, if we get the right players in, the right mix, we could actually avoid relegation. But given the way we start the season, and given that we're already halfway through, and we've only picked up 15 points, it looks very likely that we would be one of those teams that gets relegated. But what I will say is we are a strong club. We've got strong support. We've got the financial backing in the right areas. The manager is obviously got backing in some sense from the owner. Whether or not that backing is to keep us in the Championship is another question. You'd argue Paul Lambert probably took the Ipswich job because it's not only resurrect his career at some point, but it would resurrect the club itself. Maybe the club might need to get relegated given current financial circumstances. But, that would be from a different kind, a different perception, I guess. But given that we do go down, it would only mean bad things financially. But if we were to come back up and, football was better, gate receipts would go up, things like that can change a club. But maybe we need to, hit that reset button and go there. I'm not saying relegation is something that I want. It's not. I'd do anything to stay in this division. But obviously, given this season so far, it's really hard to ignore whether we're actually going to stay here or not. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying these are the facts. The facts so far this season. Can we change it around? Can we bring in the right players? Can we get points on the table? We've got 22 games. And like I said, we can only lose 9 of them realistically. So, up until the end of January, Paul Lambert said that we may struggle to bring in players. Given that opportunity, the next 6 games go up until just before the Norwich game, ironically. We could know by Norwich whether or not we'll be in this division going forward. So make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like, share it where you can, leave a comment below, and let's keep talking about this. And let's just make sure that Ipswich is talked about everywhere. Come on, you Blues.